Peace and love and blessings to everyone. What's going on? This is Cecile Edwards, CEO of Mommy Evolve, where we discuss intergenerational healing, self-care for mothers, and I encourage self-care strongly, not just as an afterthought, but as an integral part of our lives as mothers. And as a result, I, put on different events that are self-care centered. So, for example, I have a Mother's Day self-care event coming up in my home state. Well, let me not say my home state, the state that I live in currently, New Jersey. And I also have a trip to Jamaica coming up in August 2018. Our Tranquil Mama retreat are kicking off. So I just want to put that out there for y'all. But yesterday I had some conversation, some triggering around the mother wound. You know, the mother wound is really a deep wound. You know, it can be a deep wound. And how you rise above it or how you deal with it on a consistent basis really can tell a lot about how much you have evolved and grown within yourself as a woman. And I know that, everybody's wound is different, number one. Some people just have, most people I think have, mothers who are kind of like, naggy and, try to control in some way, especially when it comes to children and things like that. But then some people have really abusive mothers. And sometimes it's in between, where it's like passive-aggressive abuse type thing. And that's why I say the mother wound is the deepest wound. Because it really does affect the way that you see women, the way that you see life, the way that you are grounded in life, the way that you it can affect the way that how successful you become and how grounded you become if you don't know how to transcend and transmute that. And I put Tony Robbins in the description because there was a video that was circulating around him, basically bashing the Me Too movement and saying that, in short, saying that it's a BS movement and that women, what I heard from what he spoke was that he didn't think that women, he basically was saying that he thought that women played a huge role in being harassed or abused or something like that. I guess that was what his point was. I'm not even entirely sure because it was interesting. It was very triggering, I think, as a woman. If you've ever dealt with any kind of trauma around sexual assault, sexual abuse, it can be very off-putting to have that sort of, I guess, assumption around that abuse. But I connected it to his mother wound because he has talked extensively about how his mother abused him. He has talked a lot about that, and I really do think, and I've heard that he's talked very extensively too about women in general and just not having a certain reverence for women. And I really do believe that comes from a mother wound, right? Because his mother abused him severely. He was impoverished severely, and clearly he's risen above a lot of the programs that were implanted in him about who he was and what kind of person he was, based on what was told to him as a child, that he wasn't enough, etc., etc. He's risen above a lot of that, all of that. However, that wound is still there. And to me, that just shows the dichotomy that we exist in all the time. We always exist in dark and light, and that, so even though he's risen above it and he's in the mental space of, he can make millions and, make these investments and all of that, he still harbors that resentment towards his mother in some way, and that hatred and I almost want to say it's a fear too, in some way, towards woman and his mother. Because that's one of the things that, a mother wound does. It really blocks your conversation that you have around your relationships with women. And I know my own personal experiences, it has been very difficult for me to trust women because of my experiences in relationship and things like that with my mom. And the mother wound has affected me in so many different ways. I mean, the way that I see love and affection, or have seen. Thankfully, I have gone through processes to assist me in releasing a lot of that. How I see myself, how I expect, what I expect from the universe and from the world, what I expect, kinds of love and affection I expect, the kinds that I give to people. Am I, open to the abundance of the universe to be able to give without expectation, or to just feel secure in myself, in, giving love and receiving love. All of those things are result of a mother wound. And really the mother wound, the grist and the gist of the mother wound is that there's an insecure attachment to your genesis, which is your mom, right? But in order to transcend that, we also have to realize and understand that we are of the universe. And I think that is, anyone's healing process has to come through that. One, right? Understanding that you are of the universe. And I believe that Tony Robbins may talk about that and allude to all of that and use the energy, psychic and spiritual energy, to raise the vibration and raise above anything that may have happened, right? But you also have to give yourself whatever love and affection you may not have gotten from, from your mother. So, for example, if you never received a lot of hugs and attention, you're going to have to give yourself that. You're going to have to look yourself in the mirror and give yourself those hugs and attention and love, right? If you always felt in poverty or insecure in that way, you're going to have to learn how to give yourself the security, financial security that is needed for you to live the life that you want to live, in a balanced, healthy way. Sometimes we can go, the far to the left or far to the right, right? If we grow up poor or whatever, we may go to the extent of getting ourselves into a lot of debt so we can look a certain way. Or we can go into the mode of always penny pinching and scraping by. I think that there can be a, sort of a median between that. But you have to be aware of what it is you need. So that's critical as well. And then I wanted to say, like yesterday, when I had a conversation, I had a whole blow up around an issue that is recurring for me, and with mom, and I was like, and in my head I'm like, a lot of people, talk to you around the mother wound and will say, oh, that's your mother, or, you've had many other, women who stood in the place of mother. But to me, those are all very dismissive of the truth of the matter, that every beings want a relationship with those that birthed them. This is why people who, even if they are adopted and they get pulled away from their family or something like that, they still go and search, because there's something about knowing and wanting to be near that, right? And so we cannot discount what people feel, and it is a wound, the deepest wound to me, because I have seen people who have said that they've healed their wounds still get emotional and cry over things that happened, many years ago around that wound, right? So even having other mothers and giving yourself that, what it is that you never had, it's still something that lives with people. And then when you have situations where you have to continuously set boundaries, you really need a strong support system. Shout out to all those people who are a strong support system to me, because I don't know how I would get through without y'all. A lot of them ain't even on Facebook, so I don't know who I'm shouting, why I'm shouting on Facebook. To the elder women who always have my back and who love me and who are straight with me. I appreciate y'all, because it really helps me to keep myself under wraps. But I just wanted to say that. And I just wanted to say to anybody who is a mother who is giving their child hell based on their own wounds and insecurities, dead that shit. Like, stop it. It's enough. All of that stuff gets transferred generations and generations and generations, unless somebody is bold enough to stop it, to disrupt it. And I know I have done enormous work to ensure that is disrupted for me, in my family, in between and among my daughter. I do what I must do, because I am not having it. I'm very as candid as I can be, because she's young at this time. But as she gets older, I'm going to be even more candid with her, because there are some things that go beyond what we see in the physical that we need to understand. Because I've heard many mothers say, I see my daughter struggling with this, but she never knew that I struggled with this. This is how you know it goes beyond the words. It's more than just physical. It's emotional, it's metaphysical, it's spiritual. Okay? And so this is, whatever it is that you even feel, things that you even feel that you are triumphing, quote unquote, over. You need to bring those things to light. And be real and honest. This is how intergenerational healing happens. Real conversations. Not all that fake fluff. Oh, I love you. Yes, you love your family and all of that. But love also means that you got to deal with some tough things and still love each other through that. And really work to really heal yourselves generationally. And I maybe I'm too idealistic. But, to me, there's power in that. Even if it's like a lot of us walk around with this cloud where we don't even know, we don't even realize, we're not even bringing to light certain things. So our children are dealing with stuff, our grandchildren are dealing with stuff that if we would have brought to light and given tips and tools and all of that to deal with it, then we would be, there would seem to be a way to move forward in our generations. But I think a lot of us feel like we're starting with a clean slate, like we don't even know that this is something that is passing down through generations. We think that it's just something wrong with us. We got to keep it real. So that's why I say the mother wound is the deepest, and we really need to dig in to the realities of this wound and dig into the power of being able to heal it, to be able to call things out. You want something healed, you got to call it out. Period. You want something healed within a family, you got to call it out. But I see a lot of people trying to protect and cover up and don't think it's important. I'm here to tell you that it is very important that you bring things out. Remove things from the shadow and bring them into light. Some things are painful. Some things are very taboo. All of that stuff still requires, if you need assistance, get it. There are therapists out there who can do that work. There are community healers that can help do that work. You don't have to just live with it. Okay? And now I should have had this live earlier because all of the stuff that I had to say was in my mouth and in my brain. but I got caught up doing other things. So if I remember anything, I'll definitely throw it in the description. But this is going to actually be taken off by the end of this week anyway. Taken off of here and put onto YouTube. But anywho, I just wanted to bring that out and, encourage you to, visit my website, mommyevolve.com, because I do support women in, I'm a support and a listener of some of these issues, because a lot of people won't even talk about these. Like for me, I didn't talk about a lot of things for a long time because I was afraid. I was afraid of, airing out certain things. We learn in families that, you can't tell your business type thing, right? Or keep it in the family. But keeping it in the family just means keeping it hush, right? It doesn't mean, we keep it in the family and we working it out. It means that you just silent on it, right? So sometimes you need somebody to listen and perhaps offer you the ear of understanding. Sometimes you need tips and tools on what to do, and I did provide a few here. But that is one of the things that I'm here for. Self-care, routines, and plans is another one. Because we have to stay in the mindset of self-care. And I'm not talking about, just the self-care of getting your hair and nails done. I'm talking about the full love of yourself. The full expression of your magic. My book will be coming out soon. Look for that. It's in the editing process, right? About how to live in your magic. What does that look like? And it cannot exist without you taking care of yourself. So you'll see that on my website before Mother's Day. So grab that for any mother that you know, any new mother, etc. Or not new mother, or mother that's been a mother for years. It doesn't matter. It's for everyone. Even if you're not a mother, honestly. If you want to become one, even if you don't want to become one, it'll help you understand your friends or family members who are, so you can encourage them. This is a community reality. It's a community reality. All right. So I just wanted to come on and say that, drop any comments that you have below, and I'll talk to you soon. Deuces.